You're looking at the single most expensive, most impressive engineering project in all of human history, the International Space Station. For decades, it's been a powerful symbol of global collaboration. But now, a shocking announcement from Russia threatens to bring the whole thing crashing down, literally. So what is really going on 250 miles above our heads? Let's get into it.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the announcement that sent shockwaves through the space community. Then, we'll dig into the wild technical challenges of actually splitting this thing up. After that, we'll uncover the real reason Russia might want out, and it might not be what you think. And finally, we'll explore what the future could hold for this incredible outpost in the sky.
So how did this shining example of cooperation suddenly get to the brink of a breakup? Let's set the stage. For more than 20 years, the ISS has been this amazing symbol of post-Cold War teamwork. I mean, since the year 2000, there have been people living up there, non-stop, working together. But now, that entire legacy is on shaky ground, with Russia saying they're out after 2024. This huge news came from Yuri Borisov, the new head of Russia's space agency. And get this, he made the announcement just a few weeks after his predecessor was fired. You know, the guy who was famous for threatening to crash the station into America? Yeah, that guy.
Right, that's the official line. Nothing to do with politics, but come on, if it's not about the geopolitical tension we're all saying, then what is really driving this potential split?
Okay, so if Russia wants out, why can't they just, pack up their modules and go home? Well, as it turns out, the ISS was never, ever designed for a divorce. Untangling this partnership is next to impossible.
You might picture the ISS as a bunch of separate apartments all connected together, but that's not it at all. It was assembled piece by piece, in orbit, over many years, to work as one single, incredibly complex machine. You can't just unclick it like a bunch of Legos.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The two sides are totally codependent. The US segment provides all the power and communications, basically the brains and the voice for the entire station. But the Russian segment? It provides the muscle, the thrusters that steer the station and keep it from falling out of the sky. One literally cannot function without the other.
And believe me, that muscle is absolutely vital, because the ISS is in a constant battle against gravity. It's always falling. Even the tiniest wisps of atmosphere up there create drag, pulling it down every single day.
So without those Russian thrusters, the whole station is a sitting duck. It can't boost its own orbit to fight that decay, it can't swerve to dodge a piece of space junk, and, maybe most importantly, when it's time to retire the station, it can't be safely guided to a crash landing in a remote part of the ocean.
So if splitting up is a technical nightmare, what is really going on here? Well, the answer might have less to do with politics on Earth and a lot more to do with simple wear and tear. The station is just getting old.
Yeah, while all the headlines are screaming about conflict and tension, the engineers and astronauts up in orbit are fighting a completely different war, a war against time and aging equipment.
One of Russia's biggest arguments for leaving is that their cosmonauts are spending way more time fixing stuff than they are doing actual science. And when you look at the hardware, you can see why. It's telling a story of old age.
To really wrap your head around this problem, you just need to know one year, 1988. That's the year the main computers that control the Russian side of the ISS were designed. 1988.
Let that sink in for a second. And it's not like you can just send up a new laptop. Space is a harsh environment. Any computer component has to be radiation hardened to survive, and that custom process takes years. So by the time a new computer is certified and ready to fly, it's already completely obsolete.
It's created this totally bizarre situation. They do send up regular off-the-shelf laptops, but they break all the time. Astronauts have actually described a dungeon on the station that's just filled with piles and piles of old, broken ThinkPads. The most advanced lab in human history is also a floating graveyard for old tech.
Okay, so what we have is a space station that's technically impossible to separate, but is also kind of falling apart at the seams. So where does this partnership go from here?
Actually, trying to detach the Russian segment would be a complete nightmare. You've got layers and layers of cables, pipes, and connections that have been built up over 2 decades. Trying to undo all of that would be like performing open-heart surgery in orbit. Nobody wants to try that.
Now, Russia has floated this idea for a replacement, a new station called ROS. And it's designed to be a big leap forward, highly automated, with crews only visiting for maintenance. It sounds super efficient and modern, but let's be real. Building a brand new space station from scratch is a massive undertaking that's probably many, many years away.
So when you put all the pieces together, the technical nightmare of a breakup, the fact that the station is getting old, and the huge timeline for a new Russian station, this threat to leave starts to look less like a real plan and a lot more like political posturing.
And this, right here, is the key takeaway. It's a reality check. Despite all the drama in the headlines, the engineers on the ground, the actual people who make all of this work, they're saying their plan is to keep working together. The partnership is strained, for sure, but it looks like it's going to hold.
Ultimately, all this drama around the ISS makes us ask a much bigger question. As humanity starts to push farther out, to the moon, to Mars, and beyond, are we going to do it together as partners? Or is the final frontier just going to become another battlefield for our conflicts here on Earth?